In the great book, Farmer Brown's Physical Conditioning and Wrestling Secret book, written in 1913, one of the greatest books ever written on catch wrestling, and so applicable to today's martial arts world, mixed martial arts, judo, wrestling. And the last one we learned was the famous gotch toe hold, the gotch toe hold. And I want y'all to look at that again because Farmer Burns always tells you 5 steps to do anything. Look at the picture, then try the hold. Don't try to resist it. Just see if you can get into the position and learn it. Then go back, study the picture some more, write down what you just saw or did. Then go and try and do it with resistance and try to get away. So this gotch toe hold is one of the most devastating holds you've ever seen. And I tell you could actually demonstrate it to yourself by simply crossing your legs in the front and coming up there and pulling it over, folks. It's a deadly hold, and you really need to learn that and to get it down because you're gonna really use that in your matches. But let's go to the next hold because I want to go to this is the crotch hold. The crotch hold. And buddy, this is a pretty devastating technique there. So what are our techniques? We're going to study it first. So we're studying how to do the crotch hold. So look, you got the guy in the air, and he's on his back, and you got him up here. But let's learn about it. The variations of the crotch hold are many. It is used as a combination with a Nelson. It furnishes a powerful plan of operation for the aggressor, especially when both contestants are down on the mat, but it can also be secured from standing up. So it's a great hold on the mat or standing up. The crotch hold always consists in passing the arm between the legs in some form or the other. This picture shows only one of the dozens of positions that can be assumed. The crotch hold as shown can be used without assistance for securing falls, and is frequently how you escape is by bridging or side rolling. The aggressor must follow the hold with speed and throw his whole weight into the opponent. So here's the crotch hold. So what you've done is you pulled the opponent up and onto their head or their neck, and you've grabbed them very deep into their crotch, into their groin area. You have their leg pressed firmly against your chest, folks. Your other leg is secured, your arm is secured against your body, so he has no possibility of wiggling his leg out. So this alone is not a submission, but what it will allow you to do, is I could easily fall back in there and do a leg hold, or even a better leg hold is to fall forward and push him to his belly, and then I step over with that crotch hold, and I can come back and do a knee bar, and I can take the leg up, or I can come up and bend the knee in half. So just remember, he told us to study these pictures, so study that. Think in your mind, well, I can get that move. I can grab him in that move, and I can put him up on his head. How could I finish from there? What kind of finishes can you do from there? So you could wrap your leg over the top there. You could put your other leg over the top of his other leg and make him do what's called the banana split, couldn't you? You could fall backwards and pull your leg up and do a great knee bar. You could fall forward and throw him down and then bend his knee and do a backwards knee bar. You could roll him onto his stomach, and then you can easily secure his back. So this is a great holding position, a great starting position for you to do some great finishes, the crotch hold. So I want you to practice that. The grapevine on leg, the head chancery with a grapevine on the leg. This is a great looking hold, folks. So let's read about it, then we're going to come back and study it. The grapevine is clearly illustrated in 29. Farmer Burns has secured a fine head chancery and is attempting to twist his opponent's twist his head off and take him to the mat. The opponent, in order to break the hold, must attempt to trip the farmer's leg from under him. At the proper moment, Farmer Burns raises his left leg, entwines it about the left leg of his opponent, securely locking it with his toe. You have your opponent helpless. You can now throw your entire weight on the opponent's head, at the same time pulling sharply on the grapevine. And you can throw him to the mat, or you could easily submit him. It's used as a standing hold or on the mat, either one leg or both. And it's a splendid exercise to try and learn to get away to, and it trains your decks, your muscles in your back. So look at this hold here, folks. You've done a chancery hold. So he's pulled his head down. He's reached underneath with the Farmer Burns finger grip, and he's grabbed it, and he's pressing his neck, squashing his neck straight down. So he's got his shoulder rammed against the guy's shoulder so he can't twist away from it. He's got his other shoulder held tight against his body. Now what makes this move devastating and what would make it a great submission move is you now have a grapevine on the leg. And if you ever had a grapevine put on your leg, it hurts, folks. You have stepped over the person's left leg with your left leg, wrapped it around, and secured it with your toes. We use this a lot when you're on the mount, where you spread his legs and grapevine his legs. Now you're doing the grapevine from the top while you're breaking his neck. So this is a great move. This is called the grapevine and the head chancery. So this is a dirty wrestling move, folks. I'm pretty sure you couldn't do this in a wrestling match, but I'll guarantee you could do it in an MMA match, in a jiu-jitsu match, and submit the guy. So you're going to wrap him in a grapevine. You're going to crunch down on his neck. You're going to secure it behind his head, lock his shoulders so he can't roll, and then I would just sit down. If you sit down there, you can just tear his leg out, and you can smash him. You can also throw him to the ground with that. If you would have jumped forward with that, if you reaped your leg up and jumped and pulled his, if you took this leg, you took your left leg and pulled it up across your body, you could reap that leg, then smash him on the ground, and that'd be a heck of a hard fall to take. So this is a great move. What do you have to do? You're not going to learn this by looking at the picture, folks. You're not going to learn this move or remember it by looking at that picture. You have to understand the move thoroughly by looking at the picture. The next thing is to go and try to put it on somebody, not while they're resisting and not while you're doing it hard. So get your partner, twist them around, lock in their head, secure the hole very deep, do the grapevine on their leg, lock it there, hold that position, do it from the left side, do it from the right side, then let them do the same thing to you, folks. Then go home and tell somebody how to do it, or talk to your partner, write it down, or record how to do it. Now go out and try and practice it in an actual match where you yank his head down, then step over him. So if you're facing somebody and you're trying to do this, you yank his head down, step around, grab his neck and yank it down, then step over and put a toe hold on him, or a grapevine on his leg. So think how you'd get that from the front and from the back. You would yank his arm down. So if you had your right hand, you'd yank it, you'd pop his head down, step to the side, reach underneath, secure his neck. Now that can be a great choke there. Remember, if he's doing a chancery, he's not allowed to choke him, but that is a great choking position right there. At the same time I'm choking him, I don't want him stepping over and away and getting out, so I'll secure his leg with a grapevine. It's a great technique, folks. Learn it, practice it in the club, practice it in the spa, and get better at it. This is the leg hold, standing, and also we're going to have a toe lock. Now you didn't even notice toe lock. I'm going to come back and show it to you. Let's read it. Here the leg hold is illustrated and is secured by the opponent while working on their feet. By feigning and planning, the opening is secured and a sudden rush made for the opponent's leg, after which is lifted up and grabbed. You must be lightning fast or the opponent will grab a hold of you. Most wrestlers make the mistake of placing the opponent's foot between his legs, but this is wrong, for they give this opponent too close and gives him an opportunity for a counter hold. Grasp it under the arm, and that keeps him off balance, and he can exert no strength, and is powerless in this position, and it's easy to rush him to the mat. If it's done fast, the opponent will not break away, and you can secure a fall easily. Don't fail to practice it on both parts of the hole, left and right. And look, something here you didn't notice, the toe hold is shown here. Farmer Brown has placed his left foot on the opponent's left toe. Now, I've never seen that done. Never seen that done. So this is an old wrestling leg lift. You shot in, you got a single leg, and you've lifted it up and put it underneath your arm, holding it securely to your chest. Now, I've seen that done an awful lot in wrestling matches, and when you get up there, the guy's going to hop and hop and hop and hop and hop, and some of them are going to jump in the air and twist, and some of the great guys can even jump in the air and kick you and stuff. Look what he did here. You didn't even notice this when you did the first picture, I'll guarantee you. He has a toe lock. He's holding the guy's foot by stomping his toe, by holding it, putting pressure on him. I've never seen that done. My son wrestled for 14 years, and I've seen hundreds, thousands and thousands of wrestling matches and thousands of jiu-jitsu wrestling matches. And I've never seen anybody step on the foot. I've seen them stomp it but not hold it. I do it in karate when I'm sparring. Sometimes I'll step on the foot, then I can rush him and he can't back up. So this is a wrestling leg lock. Now he's going to push him to the ground by simply pushing his hand down there and rolling him forward. You push your left hand here on his thigh and roll him over. But the great thing that makes this so unique that you've never seen before, folks, is that you're stomping or holding his toe. This is called a toe lock. I'm squeezing his big toe to the mat and his foot so he can't hop backwards. Isn't that great? I'll bet you some of you people that are looking at this, you're MMA guys or wrestlers, you've never been told that you can hold their foot and they can't stomp, they can't hop around. Every time I ever see this, some guy's hopping and hopping and hopping and hopping. Next time someone tries to do it to you, secure it with a toe hold. Great stuff, ain't it? Great stuff. There are many other holds. This gives you some insight. There are hundreds of combinations. You must practice with enthusiasm. Do not practice wholeheartedly. You must practice wholeheartedly with enthusiasm. Half-hearted efforts don't do you any good. You're going to learn how to do some falls with only a few holds from a standing position. Practice, 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 and do it with intensity and hard thing. Here's an illustration of a quick fall. Here's a man who's going to do a quick move and he's going to secure the fall right away. When you're easily matched, if you do your attack fast and accurately, you can get a quick fall. After a few days practice, you can try this on your opponent and learn to do the quick fall. Here we are. We're tied up with our opponent. You have him in a headlock. Let's look at the pictures first, then we'll read about it. The clinch on clinch guard. This position is the most common one to begin a match. Either man is in position to dive for his opponent's leg. But the Farmer Brown's on the left has a stronger position because he's above the opponent and has one hand free for defense, to defend himself. And from here he can duck his head under and dive for both legs. So the other guy has both his hands up on you, folks, which is so common where they've just got both in here. Now the farmer, the guy on the left, has his left hand free. That means he could do a duck under where he could push that right hand up his right hand would push his opponent's left hand into the air, and he could duck under around the back and throw him back. He can also push that hand up and duck and dive for the leg. And if the other guy tries to dive for him, he can block him with his arm. So this is a modified head clinch. Instead of both of y'all tying up both of your hands, Farmer Burns here has only tied up one of his hands. That leaves the other hand free to push their elbow out of the way, to do a duck under, or to do a dive and a shoot for the leg. So study that, folks. Remember, you're not allowed to go on until you can explain to someone how to get into this hole without looking at the picture again. So it's easy enough to practice this standing up. That's your next step. Go with your partner. How would you explain this? Okay, we're doing the head clinch where you've got your one around my neck and I got one on your elbow. This time he's let go of his elbow. That gives him the opportunity to do a duck under, and also gives him the opportunity to do a hard shot in and grab the leg, one leg or two legs. And here's an example of a shoot in. Here he's going to shoot in for a double leg. And let's read about it. The double leg. Here Farmer Brown has a tremendous advantage. He's well braced, legs apart, body strong at every angle. His opponent is powerless. Farmer Burns has his opponent's knees bent forward and holds them in a grasp of iron. While the opponent is in this position, he can exert very little strength and is unable to secure a counter hold or to shoot or to sprawl. Now raise your opponent in the air and throw him to the mat. The opponent naturally throws both hands behind him for support, and Burns now grabs him. So you see here he's shot in and he's driving that shoulder into the guy's gut. Real important that you drive into the gut. And a lot of wrestlers, we will learn, you drive your head into their chest, and that even hurts them more. Now he secured him directly behind his legs and behind his knees. This stops, and you have to have a strong grip there or the guy can jump up and shoot and sprawl. So you have to be strong enough here to stop him from sprawling. And if you'll drop your knees and bend, you can easily pick that guy straight up in the air and you can slam him. And let me tell you something, when a wrestler picks another guy straight up in the air in a double leg, he can just smash him right on the mat. Now look, he also is doing what? Protecting his neck. If the guy were to try to come over and try to do a guillotine, he could not do it here. Because look at the farmer's neck. He has it braced against his shoulder. So the guy could not remove his left arm and try and do a guillotine. He obviously can't do the guillotine with his right arm, because the farmer's head is to the left. So unlike a lot of wrestlers that have shot and their neck is exposed, he has his shoulder up protecting his neck. So that's why he wants you to study the pictures. He's shot in for a double leg. He's protecting his neck for a guillotine. Now he can bend his legs, pick him up, smash him right on the ground, folks. Great technique. Haven't seen it before. Pay attention. Practice it.